The problem most people think that they have is that their outreach isn't working and they just need more customers.
Adam Robinson scaled retention.com from 0 to 22 million ARR in just 4 years with zero funding. And he thinks we're about to see something wild, the first 10-person company to hit 100 million. AI is, of course, a huge part of why this is possible.
AI truly gives the best people in the world a superpower and an amplification in a way that's much greater than if you are not the best person in the world.
But here's the twist. AI changes the tools, it changes the speed, but it doesn't change the one thing that decides whether you win or you stall.
The reason you're getting stuck is because you don't have product market fit. If you have not ever felt like things are just like easy and the wind's at your back, you don't even know what I'm talking about when I say product market fit. If it's not spreading by word of mouth, it is not good enough.
Why product market fit is still the most misunderstood and most powerful growth lever in SaaS, even in the age of AI. Let's hear how Adam explains it. Welcome to Move the Needle, the show where we explore how teams turn data into growth. Real stories, proven playbooks. Let's get into it. Welcome to Move the Needle. Today we are joined by Adam Robinson, founder and CEO at retention.com and our B2B solutions for website visitor identification. Adam specializes in high growth, highly profitable bootstrapped SaaS businesses, talks a lot about this on LinkedIn, has built retention.com from 0 to 22 million ARR in just 4 years with zero funding. Before that, he scaled and sold an email marketing company up to 20 million. Adam, you're an exec who consistently builds in public. I have learned a lot from you. I know your other followers do as well. And that's where I have seen a lot of your really interesting stories and insights. And I've learned a lot and very excited to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Allie. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. We'll see if you still feel that way after I ask you all my hard questions.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
So it was actually hard for me to pinpoint a single topic because you cover a lot of different topics. You have a lot of really interesting lessons, founder-led growth, cold outreach strategies, bootstrapping, product market fit, and of course, AI. Everyone's talking about AI. So one of your posts that I focused in on was your 2026 predictions. And prediction number 6 was, you said, we will see the first 100 million ARR 10-person startup. And that one stood out to me for a couple of reasons. I think, one, it hits on your really deep expertise around scaling businesses with really lean teams and funding. But also, it hits on the emerging AI trend. And you're already blending that into how you're growing our B2B with, you've shared, a very small team and AI. So I thought this could be a fun thought experiment. We'll see if this works. So I was thinking, let's pretend you go back to the beginning days of a startup. It could be retention.com, your email marketing startup, could be an imaginary company you haven't started yet.
Yep.
And you're committed again to bootstrapping, scaling with a lean team. Maybe you will be the first 10-person startup to achieve 100 million ARR. But this time, AI already exists right out the gate. Everything that exists now for AI existed then. What would you do differently?
So I think I do this weekly show called Unfuck My Startup. It's every Tuesday. My guest this week was the CEO of G2, Godard. Everybody knows G2. It's a SaaS. If you're watching this podcast, you know what that is. One of the things that he said, which is so on topic for this, is he's like, my audience is all, it's 80% people at 1 million ARR, right? So he's like, the advantage that you guys have that I do not have is that you can actually build an AI native app. He's like, I am forced, because we have over 100 million in revenue, to glue AI on top of our app, which is also something that I mentioned in that post. And he's like, there's no way around it. You can't just turn off G2 and start over from zero. But if I did, I wouldn't have done it the same way. You just don't. So I think to answer that question, I would like to provide some detail on what I think is are the necessary ingredients for a 100 million ARR 10-person startup. because unfortunately, one of the key ingredients, you don't just like show up and you're like, okay, like, so ingredient number one is like, you have to have like an insane product market fit, which is the result of a long time of tinkering. That's just the reality of product market fit. But with an AI native app that is the product is doing these generative things that are just so emotionally moving to observe. If it is novel, the product market fit can be totally insane, right? We're seeing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like, but like insane product market fit was a thing before AI apps. It's just right now, the next thing you need makes it much more, it makes the contagion much greater. So like another aspect, another reason these companies can get so big so fast is because of, everybody knows Clay in our world. It's like this Clay UGC loop, right? They have lead gen agencies who get their customers by posting on LinkedIn, and the best content they can create on LinkedIn is content about Clay, which is this viral loop, right? Like, and it's amazing content. It's like LinkedIn porn. It's amazing content because you're watching this. Clay is one of the perfect tools for the LLM, right? Like, what would be better than taking a list of emails, enriching it with 50 different fields that you had to have individual data subscriptions for before, and then using ChatGPT to look at all of that enrichment and write a personalized message. That's like the perfect use of the LLM. So like having this loop where creators can brag about their intelligence in a way that financially benefits them.
Right.
Replaces it replaces a marketing team. I don't know how you measure the effectiveness of like Bruno, their first marketing hire. That's all he was doing. He was just like maintaining and commenting on posts with this creator ecosystem, right? So like number one is like you need insane product market fit. That does not happen quickly. You're lucky if it's like Clay, there was zero revenue for like 7 years, right? And then it was very slow for like 18 months with revenue. And then it's like they had enough of the world of B2B data. And at the same time, they kind of cracked this like lead gen creator situation. And then it literally just went straight up. So I think you need those two things, insane product market fit. And then you need this thing where some group of people can brag to the world about their genius in a way that financially benefits them. That's like number two. And number three, I think you need an engineer who, so like these 10 people are going to be incredibly senior people. It's not like, oh, hire a kid out of, unless they're a true savant, right? Like, because what Claude Code does for my team is like, I work with Tate. He's my CTO. He was a Stanford All-American swimmer and comp sci engineer. He's just the fastest individual contributor anyone's ever seen.
Yeah.
AI is great for everybody else. It is inconceivable what it's doing for Tate. So like, you need a tech person who is like that. Like, AI truly gives the best people in the world a superpower and an amplification in a way that's much greater than if you are not the best person in the world.
Right. Yeah.
And it like goes down and down and down. And that's across every discipline.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then I think it is helpful to, it's probably something that is like not an enterprise sale, it's like a simple enough PLG led product that you can like manage it with chatbots that are AI. So, and I think the requirement for managing the support with chatbots is the workflow of using a product is simple enough to where you can have almost every single thing written in a document, right? And then that is training data for your chatbot, support bot, and Yeah. So, and then I think it helps to have a founder story, but like the UGC component is like so much more powerful than just like
Yeah.
one founder posting, because it grows also, you know,
Hmm.
and the founder's voice is just like the founder's voice. Um, and yeah, I mean, I just think that those are the key ingredients to making that happen.
Awesome. So some of those definitely are things that existed before AI, like product market fit, but look different now. And then some of them are pretty unique to AI. I
Yeah,
haven't
this
heard.
whole building something generative that is by itself kind of amazing to look at for anyone, but also makes me look smart and makes me money is like I think a unique thing with the LLM.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You get to talk to a lot of really cool companies on your podcast, which I am a fan of. And what are some other, I like that you made the point of basically like AI in the hands of a junior person who doesn't know what they're doing is a lot less powerful than AI in the hands of someone who's already really smart and fast and competent. I feel like enough people aren't talking about that. What are some of the other really awesome AI use cases that you've seen or heard that you think others might be missing out on?
So, I mean, I think everybody should be pushing themselves to build AI native uh, versions of any of the like incumbent software products now. And like, so if I think of like software before AI versus software after AI, and some of the tools that we use that are
Hmm.
like post AI and what were pre AI. So
Hmm.
like retention.com sells to Shopify stores. Klaviyo is like a great example of like a pre AI app.
Hmm.
You like make decision trees to send people down who abandon their carts, right?
Hmm.
Um, you know, HeyReach is an example in the go-to-market space of the Klaviyo for LinkedIn outreach.
Hmm.
You're making a decision tree and you're sending everyone down that decision tree, right?
Yep.
So if I contrast that to the way that I use Intercom's Fin, which by the way is an example of someone who just threw out the baby with the bathwater
Yeah.
completely and like built a fucking AI native app at hundreds of
Hmm.
millions in revenue. I mean, I think their sort of cap structure made it to where that was they had incentive to do that, which I think is hard for like
Hmm.
GoDar's not really in the same place with G2. But if I think about how I use Fin, which is Intercom's app, or Delphi, which is an AI native chatbot that we use outside of our app, um, what I'm doing is I'm like giving it training documentation.
Hmm.
With Delphi, I'm defining the persona and like the goals of it. And then I'm watching it work and I'm correcting it after the fact with either better training documentation or like individually correcting like how it's responding to things.
Hmm.
That's like a totally different way of using software than the way that you use Klaviyo and HeyReach. The way
Yeah.
that you use Klaviyo and HeyReach is you set up a decision tree. If you really want to go the extra mile, you A/B test some of the branches,
Hmm.
but like everybody's getting the same canned message, right?
Hmm.
Which like you shouldn't be doing that.
Right
So,
now. Yeah.
that's like uh, that's the bit. It's like all applications will be, you know, within reason, right? Anything that
Hmm.
is like communication for sales and marketing that is like canned messaging now. Like in 5 years, it's going to look totally different, right? It's
Yeah.
like you are an abandoned cart agent. Your goal is to increase conversion, you know, across this, you know, anyone who abandons their cart.
Hmm.
You know, here are offers that you can use. Here is data about them. You know, figure it out.
Yeah. It's personalized and
Yeah,
learning
figure
on
it
the
out.
fly. Yeah.
Do it. You know, um, the, the the Klaviyo way of doing things is so. I mean, they have hundreds of thousands of of Shopify stores that are successful doing email marketing that way. So
Mm.
like, it's really hard to change that. You know,
Right.
it's going to be a while, but like,
Hmm.
that's like the clearest illustration, in my opinion, of like the pre and post. And I think it hit customer support first because that's like the lowest stakes. It's the lowest stakes, but it's definitely not like it's the lowest stakes, but like the LLM can do the other shit better too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so it's gonna get there. It's just like you couldn't get people to change stuff they're making money on when presented the option of changing something they're not making money on. In most cases, I would say. Like normal support tickets are not like viewed as like revenue generation for most people.
Right. Well, and what you're describing requires also a shift in the buyer's behavior, not just the vendor's behavior, right? Like
Yeah.
they need to expect a different experience in the product and a different way of solving the problem they've been solving before.
Yep. True.
Yeah,
Which will
interesting.
come. Which will come. This is
Probably,
probably
I
better
think,
for both. It's probably
yeah,
better for both sides, right?
yeah.
Like so.
Yeah, that's really interesting. 'Cause, yeah, how AI presents an opportunity. It's not just doing the same thing faster. It's like a completely different way of solving important
That
problems.
Yeah, that's just my observation from this experience. You know, it like hit me. It's like, oh, like these are AI native apps. That makes sense. You're training
Yeah.
an AI, you're giving it a persona and goals, and you're setting it loose. Whereas like old software is just totally different. You know,
Yeah. So how does all of that, we'll just call it AI, all of it, everything that falls into the bucket we just talked about, how does that impact product market fit? Because you brought that up as probably the most important thing for companies to get right when they're trying to grow.
uh, I think that the fundamentals of product market fit are not really impacted by like what you were trying to do. Like I still think you need to like literally speak to as many customers as you can on your journey, even though like the hammer you're giving them to like hit a nail with is AI rather than not AI. Like it's still like, what did this do wrong? You know, or you set up things in the app to like, you know, sort of monitor their satisfaction. So like I would argue that it has not, other than like Claude Code speeding up how fast you can add things that will make them happy, AI does not shorten the path to figuring out what is something new and great for this group of people. It still requires the same like horrible slog as like as it always has, in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
as someone who's here trying to do it, right? Like
What
it's
about from
really
the
helpful.
market?
It's I think it's really helpful if you can build a tool for yourself because the feedback loop is so much faster, you know? And then go after people like you. That's hard because in most cases, B2B founders are going to sell to B2B, and that's like, or you know, if you're doing that as me, then like you're in the most competitive market ever for software because everyone knows how to build stuff. But again, it's you know, it's a way to do it.
What about market research and trying to identify those opportunities? AI can play a part there, but would you argue it's not a replacement for talking to real humans?
I think that AI in that way is full of shit, personally. I just like don't. I watched somebody in this like WhatsApp group that I'm in that Peter may also be in, like Alina from Chili Piper put it together. It's just like a bunch of SaaS CEOs. Somebody dropped this hilarious Insta meme of like, it was these two people with like, it was a husband and a wife with like really thick Indian accents being like, oh yeah, ChatGPT, like, you know, how do I get rich with no work? You know, like give me the ideas that I spend no time and like I get very rich and like, you know, all of the ideas, I'll be on Shark Tank, you know, ideas for getting rich with absolutely no work, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's always been startup ideas websites. There's always been startup ideas content. I don't know of anyone who has started a successful startup who mined their ideas that way. It's great content because entrepreneurs go, that is where you are at that point in your life. You're like, okay, Greg Eisenberg is going to tell me how to go to Reddit and scrape it with ChatGPT, and in 5 minutes use Claude Code to make $10,000 a month. That's great YouTube content for a 20-year-old who doesn't know how the world works, right?
Yeah.
That content is what the LLM is trained on. So when you ask the LLM to do market research for you, it's going to be this hollow crap. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying some type of personal experience and connection to a market and ability to identify a real hole that you are either directly or indirectly experiencing through people that you do business with or you know in your personal life. In my opinion, it's a much better place to start than like these Indian guys.
Yeah.
Show me how to like
I've seen the video you're talking about.
Yeah, it is so funny. It is just like the script is unbelievable because it's just true. It's like the next manifestation of this get rich quick scheme has been going on since the beginning of time, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is why I don't think doing market research with ChatGPT is great. It's just, I think it can be good for some things, like, you know, help me like I was trying to like see if a tech partner of ours would be interested in acquiring part of our business. And it was like really good at giving me different ideas for that.
Okay.
But like, man, startups are hard. It's just so much, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. And the idea is such a small part of it anyway. It's just the idea that you have when you start. It's almost never what it is 5 years after that. And,
Right.
you know, it's like, it's just the rabbit hole you go down and the journey you're on. So.
Interesting. That's a lot to think about. What I committed to myself that I wasn't going to only ask you about AI today because, you know, there's some saturation around that. So what else? You talk to a lot of scaling businesses on your podcast that get stuck on their road to 10 million ARR. What are some of the common challenges, biggest pitfalls that you hear over and over?
Well, I think that like the problem most people think that they have is that their outreach isn't working. And they just need more customers. And like we see that from our show attendance. Whenever we have like, I have the Clay agency that like is talking about how to do this, you know, 9-channel omnichannel outreach when you sleep, you know, as you sleep and like whatever. I booked 38 demos off this. Like 600 people show up for that. I have this unicorn CEO of this amazing company that everyone knows about, and 64 people come, right? Like, so I think that a big misconception is that like, if I were just doing the cold email, like that Adam's doing through with the agency that's doing it for him, then I would be getting customers like Adam. Right?
As the marketing leader, this is very validating. Yes, keep going.
No, it's like a very common misperception, right?
Yeah.
But like, the reason you're getting stuck is because you don't have product market fit. You know, it's like, you might not even have message market fit, right? Like, so there's a huge cart before the horse, but by the way, it's like desperation. You know, it's like, and you're like, I have the same. And so in the other part that's like really worth mentioning is like, and I remember this, like I had a company that was stuck at 3 million ARR for, I don't know, 3.5 years. That company was stuck because it did not have product market fit. It was an email newsletter app. There was MailChimp. It was free. It had more features. And it's very hard from an ego perspective to admit to yourself as the founder and like product leader of a company that the product sucks. And when it doesn't have product market fit, that is what a product sucking. It's like it can help people put contacts in and send emails and cannot be good enough to like spread via word of mouth, right? Like those two things are like, and it's really hard as a founder to accept the fact that if it's not spreading by word of mouth, it is not good enough, because then you're like, well, I'm not good enough. And that might be partially true, right? Like, but you will be, you know, over time, if you just like the rest of us who have been successful, just come in every day and like think about nothing else for like a decade, right? Like that's usually what it takes to be successful in this world, in my observation, in anything for that matter. So yeah.
What are the
How do you fix that, right? It's like that's what everybody wants to know. It's like the sad answer is you probably somehow end up doing something that is quite different than what you're doing, but somewhat tangential. But that causes this problem of like, it's just choice paralysis. Like, what is it? But like people who have been stuck and break out of it, it's usually that. And then a way less common solution is like you actually add to the feature set that is not really growing on its own to the point where there is some product market fit there. And I think that can be particularly dangerous now because it's so easy to build features that your app ends up being like vomit. It's like, what is all this crap? Because you're just like adding anything that anyone says.
Yeah.
I think there's this, you know, super simple apps with like a really defined ICP will be novel, in my opinion, in a world where everyone can build everything. Like an app that does 3 things like incredibly well will be just like a beautiful experience, you know?
Interesting.
In my opinion, that's like over the next few years, you'll see some of these things take off and people will be like, why is that taking off? I could build that in 1 minute. That's fucking stupid. And it's like, okay, well, the thing that you have has 9,000 things that you built in 1 minute and no one wants it. You know? So
interesting.
yeah.
What are some of the signs that the product market fit is off, and how would you make the case that that is the root issue versus what you said people often default to, that it's like a reach or awareness problem?
Okay, so if you have not ever felt like things are just like easy and the wind's at your back, you don't even know what I'm talking about when I say product market fit. And it's very weird. But if your startup is hard, so like until you get, Warren Buffett has this great quote, like, about, it's not about product market fit, but it, to me, I like relate it to that. It's like, you know, knowing what it's like to run a business is like, for someone who hasn't actually run that business, it's like trying to explain to a fish what it's like to walk on land. Like, one day of walking on land is like better than like so product market fit is kind of like the same deal. It's like until you experience this like radical pulling of product out of you, things very much feel like there's wind at your back. That's a big one. Product getting pulled out of you, money's just piling up in your bank account. Everyone is like you know, clamoring all over themselves to come work for you. Investors are trying to bang down the door to invest in you. It's basically like on every metric, there's wind at your back. Yeah. And for almost, I mean, for people in my audience at least, they're just not there yet. You know, I spent many years, you know, my businesses are so, and it's a dynamic thing too. It like comes and goes. Like both of my businesses are like kind of in a 5 out of 10 right now, I would say. And we are definitely like not growing as fast as I would like us to be. And we're building new stuff to try to like crack new product market fits. you know.
Yeah, that's what I was actually, that was going to be my next question is, sounds like for yourself and other companies you talk to, you have experience that high, the wind is at your back, it's a great product market fit, and then it stalls. Like, what are some of the reasons why that might be happening?
Yeah, I mean, so like product market fit is a combination of like the uniqueness and the value that your product provides. And when it happens, we live in America, like you're gonna have 100 people copy you. So
Yep.
like once you get and then what makes, like, you can't really copy Clay. So you know what I mean? Like what they will have product market fit for a very long time. You can do that. It's just incredibly difficult and will take a long time. And like their brand is so strong that people are just like, well, why am I going to buy this imitation thing? With my stuff, it's a lot easier to just like come into the market and say, I do exactly what they do for half the price. RBDB, it's kind of a little bit harder because it's low price, but like retention.com, like that. So I think the competitive dynamic changing is like, you know, and in some spaces like the Orem Nooks, this like dialer space, like Orem was out there, Nooks was a customer, Nooks copied their product, raised $70 million and just like went and undercut people. That's really annoying.
Happens, yep.
But like it like Orem was like a rocket ship to 25 million ARR, and then they stalled out because like Nooks was out there, you know, stealing all their customers basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the biggest, if you really had it, it's just like you didn't have a moat, so it was easy for competitors to sort of reverse engineer what you were doing. And just like maybe they were selling your customers something else and now they're selling them this too. And it just sort of changes everything.
And then do you shift on more feature development to build a bigger moat, or do you shift on brand to build
like,
the preference?
Now we're getting into the territory of like, every business situation is so different.
Yeah.
And like, so good social media content is just definitive. But like the reality of the world is that, you know, it just every like Databox situation is so different than mine. Like almost nothing strategic that we would do would be that optimally would be the same, right?
Yeah.
So I think the only thing that you can do is try to make your customers as happy as possible. If you're totally stalled out, probably in a new and different way, you know. And just keep beating your head against the wall until it clicks, you know?
Yeah,
and it's like an S curve. It's like the S curve illustration is perfect. It's like flat, 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 boom, more success than you ever thought, faster than ever, than that pans out. And if you're not working on your next S curve as the last one's happening, then you're going to stall out.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of the game.
Yep. I appreciate the nuance around it. You're right. There's a lot of LinkedIn is the ultimate black and white.
You should do this. I mean, again, it's like
what
it's
the algorithm rewards. Yep.
Yeah. And I think the best position on social media content is like, does that mean you should not read my stuff? No, but I try not to like tell people what to do. I try to share experience, and I think that you know, especially in early stage startups, like you want a prescription, but what you should draw, not only from social media content, but anyone ahead of you who you think has answers for you and they don't, you should draw inspiration from their experience, but it is not a prescription. Right? So yeah.
I like that. And customer happiness as a North Star. That makes sense. All right. One more set of questions. BI and analytics company here. So I got to ask some questions around data. What, in your experience, have been the most important metrics for mid-sized SaaS companies that are trying to scale in the range you talk to? What are the most important metrics? And are they the ones that they are often tracking, or are they tracking the wrong metric?
I think if you're trying to actually grow revenue a lot, then the combination of low gross revenue churn or high gross revenue retention in a reasonable TAM is like the combination that gets you there. Um, I got some high churn businesses. I'm kind of doing it in a different way, right? Like for me, I'm trying to run it as capital. I don't, my goal is not to have like a billion ARR company. It's like, I want to continue steadily growing my profitability over years and years and years. I want my employees to feel like they have an abundance of financial, intellectual, and interpersonal capital. I want to build good brands that are market leading and that people respect. I love the revenue per head count metric. I love operating a very high total margin business. So like, again, this is like not what most people are focused on in our world. But to me, it's just who I am. It just makes sense that like I should want as much revenue with as few employees as possible, regardless of like whether it's software we're making or selling, peanuts or like whatever else. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't hear many people talking about that one. I saw that you did the revenue per head count. Can you talk a little bit more about how you arrived on that one as a one to prioritize?
Well, I think it was just what I said before. Like, I think in any business, if you were smart, you would try to make as much money and have as few employees and costs as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, particularly employees, because they're complex. Humans are, there's just no question that if you had 2 instead of 2,000 employees, you would have like 1,000 times less people issues. Like that's just a thing. So a business with the same revenue with 2 employees would be 1,000 times better business than the one that does 2,000. In my opinion, I would run around that, like regardless of sort of the future prospects of it. So yeah, again, this is like, it goes back to like bootstrap or VC debate. Like to me, the fundamental reason that I'm in business is like, to like maximize the odds of continued profitability growth into the future. Whereas like most software is funded by VC, they're not trying to do that. They're trying to maximize the odds of, they're trying to create a scenario in which there could be an epic outcome, not really trying to maximize anything else. Yeah.
Fair
And
enough.
I think there could be a lot of really beautiful small software businesses that today don't exist because they were forced down that path. They were forced into something that they never should have been. So talk about that a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. That was all the questions I had for you, Adam. Was there anything else?
I'm very impressed that you asked the last one and I finished my answer at 10:45, which was
Look at that, on the dot.
How did you even do that? Like, you're a really good host.
I got my eye on the clock in the
Did you have
corner.
this all timed out? Was there like a script
No.
even before we started?
I have the questions, but
I
no,
didn't know about?
not a script. Nope.
Is this an Adam bot?
Actually
Like,
talking.
give the Adam bot 37 seconds to answer that one.
This is 2 AI avatars having a conversation. Honestly, these days you almost wouldn't know. They look really good. Yep. Anything I didn't ask? Any other quick pieces of advice you want to share?
I just think you got to keep going, no matter what.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you. That was a pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Great interview.